Hello and welcome to all. In today's session, we'll see how AI can be used in manual testing with real example. Or when we are working in a manual testing, and then we'll see how we need to give a prompt so that we'll get a correct result. Okay. So before we start, okay, so we need to understand AI does not replace the manual tester. Using the AI, we enhances our thinking, speed, coverage, and the analysis. Okay, so as a manual testing, we need to perform first understanding the requirements using the story, okay, or using the business requirement documents. Then after that, we need to design the scenarios. Then we need to find out the test cases, okay, and we need to think like a end user. Now, further, we'll see how we'll use AI in all these phases. Okay. So first, AI for the requirement analysis. Okay. So now if you see when we get a user story, okay, sometimes requirements are not clear or it may be ambiguous or it may be incomplete or it may be missing the edge cases. Okay. So if we got the user story, okay, then we'll give the prompt to AI like act as a senior QA, analyze this requirement, and list down ambiguous or risk or missing scenarios. Okay, so we'll see all these details. Okay, then next we'll see AI for test case generation. Okay, so we'll ask AI. Okay, to generate the functional test cases, boundary test cases, negative scenarios, risk-based testing, or the exploratory scenarios. Okay, so even test case generation or design, okay, we can use the AI. Then AI for the test data generation. Okay, so as a manual tester, okay, we are spending a lot of time while creating a valid invalid data, boundary values, or JSON payloads or API test data. Okay, but AI can generate these things in quickly. Okay, like here I already mentioned the valid email list. Okay, or boundary age value or the age case phone numbers. Okay, and we need to give the prompt like act as a senior QA and generate 20 boundary test data for age field, allowed range 18 to 60. Okay, so using AI, it will give a quickly within a second. Then we also use AI for log analysis. Okay, sometimes defects are hard to identify in logs. Okay, like we have a server logs, API response, track trace, and all these details. Okay, so AI can help to identify the null pointer exception or missing dependency or API 401 due to expired token and other things. Okay, so here we'll provide all the logs and we'll just give the prompt like explain root cause in simple language. Okay, so AI only it will analyze and you it will give the summary in simple language. Okay, so now we'll see the one more example. Okay, okay. Here you can see AI. Even AI we can use in test summary and the reporting. Okay, instead of manually creating or generating the report, okay, we simply copy the defect list and ask AI the simple prompt generate release summary for management. Okay, it definitely saves manual testing times and improves the communication quality. Okay, now as I mentioned, we'll see. This is the real-time example. Okay, so now if you see, suppose this is the, we can see we got the Figma screen. Okay, and this is the login screen. Okay, and which dev team wants to implement these things. Okay, so before we need to write a test cases. Okay, so we'll see how AI will helpful in requirements, then generating test data, then designing the test cases. Okay, so here you can see. So this is the my login screen, and in this login screen you can see I have username. Okay, I have password field, then remember me checkbox and the login. Okay, now after login, okay, it will display the another screen, and again from that other screen, okay, we'll come back to login screen. Okay, now here we'll see next. Okay, so now here first we need to understand the requirements. Okay, so this is the first screen, or we can say first story login screen, and as I mentioned, on login screen we have username, password, remember me checkbox, login button, and we have like some requirements, validation rules. Okay, and we have other screen like home screen. Once user enter the correct username and correct password, we can see home screen, and on this home screen we can see different fields. Okay, and from this home screen also we again click on back button, again we'll navigate back to login screen. Okay, so this is our requirements. Okay, now we'll see. So before we will prompt correct prompt. Okay, and it is helpful in manual testing. First, we'll see what is a good prompt. As a manual testing, we need to think. Okay, a good prompt, a good testing prompt must include a role. Who AI should behave like. First, we need to tell. Okay, first role, then context. Okay, then application details we need to provide, and we need to ask what task we need to generate to AI, and output format. Okay, which format you require, table or structure. Okay, if you give this format, okay, this is a good prompt, and we need to give the some constraint. Okay, avoid basic cases, include edge cases and other things. If you give the constraint, okay, that is called, we are giving a clear instruction to AI, so that AI give the correct output. Okay, instead of this one. Okay, now this is the one weak prompt. Okay, so you will get the result, but this is called a weak prompt. Here we simply say generate test cases for logins page. Okay, so you will get the output very basic. Okay, but as a full stack QA mindset, we need to think all the perspective, all the test case perspective, and we need to cover all the test cases scenarios. Okay, so now here we can see, so same prompt we can give act as a senior QA engineer in web application testing. Okay, like if you remember role. Below is the login functionality of web application. We need to mention all the requirement. Okay, here we can see validation. Okay, this is the context. Okay, here you can see. Then we need to generate what task we need to tell to AI to generate. We are saying generate positive test cases, scenarios, negative, boundary value analysis, security related, usability. Okay, and here we gave the like kind of a constraint as well, and which format we required, provide output in tabular format. Okay, now my tabular format is like test scenario, test steps, expected result, test type. Okay, now why this prompt is strong? Because we defined the clear role, senior QA. We provided the application details. We clearly mentioned the validation. We asked for the multiple testing types. We requested structure output in tabular format. Okay, then we'll see one more example. Like if in case you need to find gaps in requirement, then simply we'll say act as a QA test lead in reviewing the login feature of a web application. Okay, and you give the uh, requirements below on the below functionality, identify missing validation, edge cases, not handle, improvement suggestion. Okay, and here all these details give. Then definitely it's think critically and highlight real world production risk. Okay, then now here you can see why this prompt is strong. Okay, your HTML does not include password strength validation. Okay, like if you see in earlier cases, in earlier requirement, they have not mentioned, but because of this prompt, okay, review, okay, so AI will give the output like password strength validation, account log after fail attempt, SQL ingestion protection, session timeout. AI will highlight this. Okay, so you got it. How we can find out the gaps in requirement, so we need to give the prompt correctly. Okay, then next test navigation and UI. UI. Okay, so here you can see if you remember, like if user enter the correct username and correct password and click on the login button, we will navigate to next screen. Okay, home screen, and on home screen we can see home screen, back button, page switching, and different links. Okay, and model pop-up will come. Okay, so now if we need to write a same test cases, then we'll again mention act as a senior QA engineer, analyze the navigation flow of this application, like login to home, category page, and category back to home navigation. Okay, here we are saying what we should identify: broken navigation, then browser back button behavior, session handling risk, UI consistency issue, provide detailed explanation. Okay, then we'll get a correct result. Okay, and as a manual testing, okay, so I will recommend in market there are a lot of tools out there, but primarily I will recommend we'll go ahead with the chat GPT. Okay, or Microsoft Copilot or Google Gemini. Okay, that is a more than enough. If you use more tools, okay, definitely confusion will increase. So I will recommend use a chat gpt, okay, for manual testing. Definitely whatever you required, okay, everything this AI tool will give you. Okay, so now quickly what we'll do, okay, so we'll just try one good prompt how it is looking. Okay, so now I am opening the same thing, chat gpt, and I am giving the prompt. Okay, here you can see I just opened chat gpt. I copied the prompt. Okay, here you can see. Then we'll see how chat gpt is giving the result. Okay, I just copied, and here we'll mention. Here you can see I copied the entire things. Okay, act as a senior QA engineer in web testing. Below the login functionality, we give all these details, validation, and generate positive, negative boundary, and all these details. Okay, and provide the output in tabular format. Okay, here you can see. If you scroll down, you will see. Okay, now I am just click on next. Okay, so now here you can see the chat GPT is giving the output. Okay, now here you can see positive test scenarios. Okay, all detailed sheets came. Okay, we just copy and paste so that if you see it increases the our thinking and it increases the speed. Okay, we'll just copy and update our respective test case management. Okay, the negative scenario is also coming, like both the fields empty, username empty, password empty. Okay, username less than 4 character, invalid email address. Okay, even boundary value also came, username exactly 4 characters. Okay, then username 3 characters, username 5 characters. Okay, so boundary value also covered. Then security related also came. Okay, so when you are entering the password, it should be password masking. Okay, then here you can see session timeout also came. Okay, now usability is also it's covered, since we asked all these things covered, like error message, tab order, password visibility toggle, and all these things. Okay, so like here you can see, like as a mature login strategy should cover functional, boundary, negative, security, usability, and session, which already covered. Okay, so now if you see here, like I gave the how I gave the prompt. Okay, don't mention, simply give the test cases for the login. Okay, it will cover the basic. Okay, so instead of that one, okay, as I mentioned in my PPT, so we need to first define the role, then we need to give the constraint, like which test cases we required. Here you can see, and we need to give the some input and output. Okay, what output we are expecting, like this way, and this is the best example we need to keep in mind, and we need to use AI, okay, in our manual testing, so that it increases our productivity. Okay, okay. So if in case you have any questions, queries, okay, please let me know. Thank you.